Hello and welcome to Petal Projections, a community-driven show where we talk all things feminine artistry. Today I am joined by Kayla Ado. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So do you want to introduce yourself and what you do a little bit?
For sure. My name's Kayla. I'm a stage manager. I'll immediately went into what I did. So I work in theater and dance specifically. Right now I'm working with a ballet company, Canada's Ballet Yorkin. And we tour Canada mostly, bringing ballet to small communities, and I work as a stage manager there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you tell us any stories about like going across Canada? I know you do a lot of the driving, which is like so impressive to me. I could never.
I do a lot of the driving, which is like a lot.
Yeah.
Like there's days where it's like 12 hours, 14 hours of driving, which is not usually. It's usually like 5, 6. But it's always like, okay, so when I first started the tour last February, I was listening to A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Oh my gosh.
The series, I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm familiar.
And so, like, I wasn't really super close with any of the dancers yet, so I would be driving them, and they would mostly all go to bed. It's also like they just did like a huge show, whatever. Like they need their sleep, so everyone would be sleeping in the car, and I'd be like, I guess I can put on Audible. Like I guess I can put on The Court of Thorns and Roses, and I would put it on, and it would be great, and I'd be listening to my little book, and I'd be like, everyone's sleeping, it's good. And whenever there was like a dirty scene, I would turn it down, but I was like, it's okay, everyone's sleeping. And we had just passed like a particularly dirty scene, but they said like a word that was specific to the book, which is like winnowing. And one of the dancers just goes, "What's winnowing?" It's like, oh fuck you, you've heard this entire thing. And it was bad. I don't know if have you read it?
No, what is winnowing?
Well, winnowing is not relevant. It's just like like I'm here and now I'm there.
Okay,
like, you know what I mean? Like
it's in like the fantasy world building.
Yeah, but like it came like right after like.
Oh.
I'm like, how detailed can I get?
You're good, yeah.
It came right after a moment, I think, where one of the love interests tracked his other love interest because he like had her juices on his fingers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's how
Whoa.
he found her.
That's impressive.
Right?
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna read it now.
Winnowing.
I've had it on my Goodreads for like so long, just in the like want to read, and I think I bought it like an ebook version and read the first page and was just like, I don't have the attention span for this right now.
I could not have read it. I needed it to be read to me. That was a big thing.
Okay.
The first one's also kind of bad.
Okay.
The first one, I feel like if you're 14, the first one, I feel like it's all good if you're 14.
Okay,
but like,
yeah.
like I read the first one, I was like, oh, like this character's kind of abusive. Like I don't really like him.
Yeah, I need to get into like the teenage fan fiction
You're right.
mindset.
You're right.
Yeah.
But the second one, it was juicy. It was really, really juicy. It like solved all of the issues of the first one. You could just read the first 2. The rest are not really relevant to my mind.
Beautiful. Yeah. What other like, what else do you do to like keep yourself occupied while you're doing the driving? Like, is it mostly audiobook or?
Mostly audiobook, or I listen to like Morbid, my true crime podcast.
Okay, yeah.
I listen to a lot of them. Or sort of like now that I'm closer with everyone, like whoever's in the front seat, I'll usually chat with.
Okay,
Which
yeah,
is nice.
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
There was something really beautiful about reading the second novel, An Akatar, which takes place in the mountains while being in the mountains. That was that did a lot for my soul, actually. Ooh. But in relation to like the job and the travel, it's both like nerve-wracking and also very fulfilling to be able to like experience all of the small communities and like see exactly how they work, and like get to provide to them for at least that day, that moment. And like really when I think about like what I want to do in life like later on, it's very similar, just not dance. I'm not a dancer. I would love to bring to theater to small communities and to travel that way. And so it's nice to get a sense of what that world looks like.
That's really cool. have you like, you said you got like closer with everybody in the company. What was that process like? Just
It was odd, especially like with the crew it was different because we're all working together all of the time. But with the dancers, like I don't really go to their rehearsals most often because like I don't need to be there for many reasons, and I'm also doing like things in the warehouse and whatever. So it was like they're so close to each other. They're with each other every day, and then they tour with each other. So it was like interesting to kind of like try and penetrate that group a little bit.
Yeah.
But everyone is very kind, and also I started doing ballet in like January, February, just for like fun, and everyone's so supportive and like wants to help out, which is really, really cute.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I feel like, so I grew up in a high school that had like a dance program extended to it, and people would like move into like my small town, middle of nowhere high school just to like go to the ballet school that was right next to it.
Oh, wow.
And it's definitely like all of the dancers, they spend so much time together, and it's so brutal. Like
they're together
yeah.
literally all the time. And like most often they room with one another, and then like even like when I've roomed with dancers on tour, it's like, oh yeah, this person's coming over for the evening, not even to hang out, like we have to like go over like these 3 sections, and I'm like, oh my God, like I understand like why they're so connected to one another, and also like the shared experiences of what must have been like growing up in dance is something I don't necessarily understand.
Yeah. And you talked about your interest more in theater and writing, and what does that like look like for you? I know that we put on the show in the summer, which amazing.
Thank you. I've always really loved writing. I was a Wattpad kid. I do have a pretty popular Wattpad novel. It will remain unnamed. But I think I kind of fell out of it in high school because I was like, oh my God, all of these people are like such prolific writers, and like I just, you've read my work, I can't write in metaphors, I can't do anything like that. I was just like, oh, I'm not a writer, you know, like that's what a writer is. And then I went to university and I got into dramaturgy, which for anyone who doesn't know is like the act of inspiring the playwright. You basically work alongside the playwright to get them to continue writing, and also to ensure that what they're writing makes sense and that it's all cohesive and that it's as good as it can possibly be. And so I was working super, super closely with playwrights. And I was just like, I love dramaturgy and I love being a dramaturg, but like, I was like, I'm also jealous of you. I want to like pick that up again. And so I just like got back into writing, and I'm still very much like honing the craft. Like it's not something that I'm like, oh yes, I am a writer and I'm so proud of everything I write, but I'm happy to be doing it again. Yeah.
It's really hard for me. Like everybody, I think all of my profs talk about like making it a habit and like the choice of doing it every day. And I don't know, it's just like such a hard concept for me to get there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I have always wanted to be a journaler.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's just never worked out for me. I want to do it so badly, and I don't know.
Whenever I put the pressure on myself to journal, it doesn't happen.
It doesn't, no.
And I always see it as like a fallback. So like if things are kind of like out of whack in a way, like just not like, I'm not up to routines or I'm not up to anything the way that I should be, I'll usually just like start journaling then. And I've like adopted the mentality that it's like, it's okay that this is a thing to fall back on. Like that's an okay habit to have.
I used to write like these letters to myself. It started with like, I went to camp, and like that's what we did. Like we would write them in camp, and then they would send them out to us whenever they thought we would need them. And then I got really into it. I was doing like every half year, and like at the beginning of 2023, I guess, I went, oh, I'm gonna write a letter. It's been a while. And I have that page still, and it's really just January 1st, 2023, an empty page. And like, it's been a year, and like, I don't know, I can't do it right now. I'll get back to it sooner or later.
Letter writing is fun. Did you ever have like a pen pal or anything like that?
I feel like we attempted in like second grade, but I don't think mine responded. Rest in peace. Did you?
I had one internet friend that I used to send letters to, and then I met her like 2 years ago after
Oh my god.
like 10 years.
Was it good?
It was good. We met on like Dan and Phil Tumblr.
That's
and
amazing.
then we just like stayed mutuals on Instagram forever and would send each other letters, and it was really fun.
That is so sweet.
Yeah.
I had like some like online like Wattpad friends, but if I got a letter in the mail as a child from a random person, I wouldn't be here right now. If I gave my address out to someone, oh my god, my mom would have ended me then and there.
I don't know how I made that happen. I think it was because the letter sending started when I was like 16.
Okay.
So like
that's more appropriate.
We started our friendship at like 12, and then like because we were friends for like 4 years, it was like okay.
That makes I never like sustained a relationship with someone, so I like it would have been bad if I did that.
It's so weird to have somebody that just like knows the depths of your Dan and Phil Tumblr blog. Like that's crazy, and like still chooses to be friends with you.
Well, did they also run one?
That's the thing. Yeah. It was mutual.
Yeah.
I have a fan fiction with one of my friends that's still on Wattpad, and I like cleansed my Wattpad history as much as possible. But my friend and I made a joint account so that we could write this one, and it's still up there, and it haunts me. It's so funny.
I'm really sorry because I also did that with someone, but like we didn't make a joint account. We put it on my account, so I was able to get rid of that as well. It's all gone. It's all like I don't even know, like it's hidden, like it's still there, but like it's not available to the public.
Mine is out there.
I'm so sorry.
I made my roommate read part of it a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, honestly, this should be your thesis. And I was like, low-key, like.
What was it about?
It's a Dan and Phil fan fiction.
Amazing.
About, the plot is that Dan, he shrinks and falls inside Phil's phone, and then he becomes his Siri, and then they fall in love. It's really creative. I'm not gonna like.
It is. Yeah. How does he shrink?
I think the like cell phone store lady was secretly a witch or something.
Okay, amazing, beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what? Dan and Phil fanfiction serves because here we are now. Like they're in a happy relationship. Like you guys got what you wanted.
Actually, we don't know that for sure.
We don't?
No, it's crazy.
They do.
Yeah,
they are.
Well, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's offensive. But like.
Here's what happened.
Okay. Please tell me what happened.
What happened is they like both took breaks from the internet. Phil less so, Dan more so.
Okay.
Phil made a coming out video.
Yeah.
A month or so later, maybe I don't know. Dan makes a coming out video. It's
I remember that. I was very sad.
Very long, very intense. Yeah, it was. And in that video, he says something that's like, and then I met Phil. My life changed. I met my literal soulmate. And we're best friends, and it's like, and then they kept making like whenever Dan would like want to like they would use it to clickbait all the time, which was like I would too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like if I had been put through that my whole life and like had that, I'm using it. So he would make videos that were like, Phil and I tell the truth. We finally whatever.
Oh, so I've been done dirty by those.
Okay. Yeah, and then you watch them, and there will be like one small hint thing, and it's like I don't want to like obsess over it because that feels weird.
No,
in retrospect, but it's also like just one of those things that's like everybody is aware of and has this like.
And I feel like okay, here's the thing. It was one thing when we were speculating about their sexuality, like that's fucked up. But like we know they're queer. Like are they both gay?
Yeah.
We know they're gay. And they're hinting at it. Like what am I supposed to do? Not talk about it?
I think like once the clickbaiting started, I was like,
it's mutual at this point.
Yeah. This
right?
Is, yeah. Exactly. This is an exchange, and it's okay. Yeah. But yeah, that's where they're at now. And then we talked about this the other day.
Yes.
I made a TikTok where I was like, sometimes the semester gets so bad that you just need to like watch Dan and Phil games because nostalgia and happiness. And the last video they posted was like 5 years ago.
Amazing.
And then like 3 days after I posted that, they made an announcement that they were coming back, and now they've like uploaded a video every day.
since the announcement, do they just play like any video game, or like do they like?
I think it's like a Halloween thing that they're doing. I don't know, because they're playing like scary
What do you mean
games.
you think? You haven't been watching it?
No, I have. I
Okay.
know. I'm like, I think maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Amazing.
But yeah.
Do they still do? Do they ever do the cat whiskers? Like even ironically?
I don't think so. Well, I'm making this like a lore. Okay. They did something called Phil is Not on Fire, where every year they would upload that, and that was the only like cat whisker video they ever did.
Yes.
And they did the last one was like the 10th year of it, so they did 10 years of it, and then they stopped. Yeah.
Okay.
And they were like, we're not doing this again.
It was recently my birthday, and so I got like all the Facebook birthday posts, and I got one from 10 years ago. And it had nothing to do with Dan and Phil whatsoever. It was from my best friend Nadine, and like had nothing to do. But we just had the cat whiskers on.
Oh my gosh, I have a cat whisker picture.
Yeah, and I was like, first of all, why was that the photo you used? Because I don't remember being big Dan and Phil fans. And I said that to her, and she was like, who the fuck is Dan and Phil? And then I sent them a picture of them with the cat whiskers, and I was like, well, actually, we look very similar in these two images. I'll send them to you. But I don't know. I don't know why we had cat whiskers, but we were cute.
That's so cute. I've definitely shown you the picture where I met them.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you that happened. Where did you
you.
meet them? Like a VidCon?
They did. They had a tour,
Amazing.
and I like came from Belleville to Toronto. And
Amazing.
I was like, big
How old
city
were you?
moment. I was like 13 maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was. I'm
Yeah.
happy for you. That was.
It was
really
like
great.
really adorable. Like there were, you know how like whenever something cringy happens, there's a couple of years, like there's a year where it's exciting, and then so many years where it's cringy, and then there's a moment where you're just kind of like, aw.
Yeah, that was
really
great.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like, oh, cute. We were talking about like embarrassing obsession things, and you don't have to share the one that you said the other night, but were there any like were there any like fan culture type things? You said there wasn't much.
But wasn't like, I've never been like an obsessor. Like I know people who are like like one of my best friends who like in love with One Direction, like truly just like One Direction saved my life, and like I believe them. Like if they did, I have nothing like that.
Yeah.
But like I was super into like Supernatural. Like there are
Okay,
definitely
yeah.
like drawings on my little Facebook of like I don't know, just like Croatoan. I remember I'm like whatever, you know, like whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I did name a cat after Sam from
cute.
Supernatural.
Yeah.
But then I stopped watching. I think around like Megatron for anyone who watches. Yeah. And I was also The Vampire Diaries.
Oh,
To
okay.
this day, maybe I shouldn't tell people this. Every single one of my passwords has to do with the Vampire Diaries. I loved the Vampire Diaries. I was very
Actually, every single one of my passwords has to do with Supernatural.
amazing. Yeah. Okay, amazing. There you go. The Vampire, and me and my boyfriend recently rewatched Vampire Diaries, and it holds up. It's a good show, in my opinion.
It's one of those things that my sister watched, and then I would watch because it was on, so I never like followed the plot.
Yes, I would recommend it. A lot of people hate the main character. A lot of people hate Elena and think she's really annoying.
I've heard that, yeah.
I don't mind her. I really don't mind her. Whatever. And I'm happy with where it went, except for the last season. But I feel like that's pretty standard for any show.
For most shows, yeah. Do you remember when Supernatural ended, and it was like they made, oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. The Destiel, who was the
Castiel and Dean.
Yeah, Castiel. They made him gay, and then they were like, actually, you're going to like the
Super
10th
hell.
circle of hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I didn't actually watch that. I had someone tell me about it very recently.
I think I saw like a 2-minute Twitter clip when it happened, and I was like, oh my god.
Because it was like the happiest moment of his life or something. I think it was like season 10 that I stopped watching, so I don't actually know where it even ended up. But like when I found that out, I was livid. And because Dean didn't even say anything back yet. You're telling me the happiest moment of Castiel's life was confessing his feelings?
Yeah.
Those are not the happiest moments of my life.
No, yeah.
Right?
Never. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Like the worst thing you can say is no. No, not true.
There's so much.
There's so much worse.
Like going to super hell.
Yeah, exactly. You could end up in super hell. That's so much worse than no.
Like, don't get me wrong, like the Wattpad stuff I did write was just as equally cringe, but like it was just something in me was like, I can't write fan fiction.
That's
I can't
fair.
do it.
That's so fair.
And I think I also like, read a bit of After.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it was
yeah,
very
yeah.
triggering to me. I did not like it.
I read After in like independent reading time in middle school. Like I was on
I
my
love
iPod
that.
Touch, like
Reading After?
yeah.
No. Oh my god, I'm like reading the Harry Potters. No, like I did not like the way it had the same vibes as like 50 Shades of Grey. Like I'm like, oh, like this is
Yeah.
very much bordering on like actual non-consent,
Yeah.
and I do not like. I feel like after like wasn't even bordering. It was just like
Yeah.
non-consent. I was like, maybe not for me.
Yeah. And when I can't believe the movies are like still.
They're like
It's insane. Good for her.
how
honestly,
many
but,
movies
like,
are there?
I don't know. I feel like hold on.
Yeah, important. Honestly, great
I just
for her.
remember when the first one came out. I'm seeing 5 right now,
5.
but I don't know.
I hope she has money, you know? Like, I hope she's doing well.
There might be a 6th.
Who wrote it? What's her name?
Anna Todd, I think.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought, but I was like, maybe Anna Todd also sounds like...
I know who you're yeah. Yeah, I have that every time. I think that every single time. Because I think...
the girl with the...
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
exactly... I think that every single time. And I forget what her name is.
I do too, but why do I think about her?
I literally have that thought every single time.
I'm really glad, and also, like, I'm so sorry. But
You didn't even have to say it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I know, because every time I say her name is Anna Todd, I'm like, is that right? But if
Yeah,
I'm
it
wrong, that's
seems
really messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to that one girl.
True.
Though.
Yes. I don't know how to.
To segue.
Non-segue.
Yeah, there you go.
Join Kayla and I in the next episode of Petal Projections, where we talk about her experience creating the show Roller Rinks and Sugary Drinks. We'll also be talking about how mental health plays into the intersectional themes of the play. See you next week.